Hi, this is Zak Mir with the US Chartbreakers here at Zak's Traders Cafe for Tuesday, the 13th of May. And just for a change, and against the grain, the S&P is actually surprised on the upside, gapping through the late March resistance there, 57.70. Above that, we should actually have a clear run to the highs up towards 61.50. It also means that above 57.70, we've basically cancelled out the pre-tariff breakdown or post-tariff breakdown that we had there. And at least while we're above that 57.70 level, we're looking for the best levels ever for this market. If we do break down, for the latest gap around 56.80 is a potential stopping point. And obviously the 50-day line, 55.49 below that. But at this stage, really, previous resistance towards 56.80 looks to be the worst case on the downside at the moment. Moving along to the Nasdaq, and here it's also a market which has been improving in a way better than the S&P. Shot through that final resistance line there around 20,500, looking for a retest of February resistance at 22,200 plus, and hopefully we get that by the end of this month. Best case scenario now is that resistance line projection from back in June as high as 22,700. Perhaps by the end of next month. Moving on to the stocks, and quite an interesting selection today. That obviously normally is interesting, but here we've got bullish divergence at the low for Aligos Therapeutics, potentially a rising trend channel base, top of the channel there at $13.75. Obviously the initial target here would be up to $7.81 and the 50-day moving average, while we're above recent support at $4.60. But the key here is that uptrend in the RSI window backing the price action. On to a stock which I believe we've covered before. It is Baosheng, and here the situation is that we've had a bit like we had over the course of this time last year, falling trend channel, and the top of the channel there, $3.30, and obviously we overshot that by miles yesterday, $8.30, but target still up to $3.30 while we're above the 50-day moving average at $2.10. Stock which hopefully will also have legs, maybe not as good as the previous one, is Cytomx, and here you can see we've got a falling trend channel, the top of the channel there up to $3.70. We're looking for that while we're above the intraday low of yesterday, $1.65 on an end of day close basis. The RSI 50 rebound did the trick in terms of the initial bounce there from 69 cents, and then we've had another one much higher above the neutral 50 level to give us the gap higher that we had yesterday. The other point to note is that we had a gap down back in November last year, and the gap higher this year means that we've got a bear trap behind reversal, which is normally a very powerful charting setup. Next up is DDC, which is also in a falling trend channel. Here you can see that we've got the shares in a falling trend channel since back in August, $6.50 at the top of the channel, and above recent resistance around $3, looking for that $6 plus level by the end of next month. Now on to an interestingly named company called Funko, and here another falling trend channel. We've broken recent resistance at $4.60, and above that, looking for the top of the channel, $6.40 by the end of next month. And ideally, we fill that gap there up to the $6.70 zone as we break higher. Obviously, the initial target here, the 50-day line at $6, but the gap close buy signal that we had yesterday through the $4 area, pretty strong signal there for that stock. Moving along to a situation which is a bit of a lap of honor, I think, with Kindly. You can see that we were looking for the shares to hopefully get up to the top of that rising trend channel at just under $5, and obviously they have overshot the runway, or they did yesterday, reaching up to $31, so I think full marks on that. The only point is, I suppose, shares rather exceeded expectations. Current situation, obviously waiting to see how far back the stock will go. Ideally, there's a move back down towards the old resistance around $5, but maybe that is asking a little bit too much. On to NRG, and here rising trend channel that's been in place since February last year. At top of the channel there, heading for up to $163. We're looking for that over the next few sessions while we're above yesterday's support at $1.36 on an end-of-day close basis. Moving along to the situation at Next Technology, and here, broken a resistance line there from back in July last year. Above that at around $2.50, which we're quite close to given the pre-market situation, and only above that looking for the shares to flip up to the best levels of last year through $6.50 and maybe even up to $7. But the key here is holding that resistance line there around the $2.50 to $60 area. Next up is another heroic situation, which is Regencell. You can see all the various targets we have. In fact, the stock rising so rapidly, we don't actually have a chance to regroup, but you can see that we originally had the target here around $23, then 40, then 60, and then 100, and then after that, we've kind of given up, given that the shares have overshot the runway to a massive extent. Just have to wait and see how the dust settles there. Next situation, not quite so fantastic or dramatic, which is Ruanyun, and here you can see that we've got a breakout through recent resistance, $8.85. Above that, looking for the top of that rising trend channel, heading as high as $20 by the end of next month. On to the last three. The first one coming up in the form of Telos, and here potential broadening triangle base, a bit of a bear trap rebound there. At above $2.10, looking for the top of the triangle, $3.04 by the end of this month. If you're cautious, you wait for an end-of-day close through $2.59 and the 50-day line before assuming we are on our way. On to Top Win, which I suppose there's not much to go on here, but it looks like a U-shaped turnaround, and above the old resistance there, around $4.95, looking for the top of the range. And the top of that channel there, $10.85, hopefully by the end of next month. But the key here is holding above that opening price on the 2nd of April. And let's see if we can do that at $4.95. Finishing off with another decent situation, which has been Zengyhe, a bit of consolidation at the old target, the initial target we had there around $10.60. Above that, we're looking for the top of the higher channel there, $15.80 by the end of this month. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.